Hello and welcome back to the Game Bet Match podcast. I'm your host, Manny Friedman, along with my co-host,
Brad Sloan.
It has not been a good week for us in Monte Carlo so far.
And my my personal tennis game was not ideal today. My betting has been not ideal. So a lot of not ideal things going on in life and not a whole lot of ideal things
We
going
played
on.
today and I covered the spread. I took a set off of you, so I was surprised. I hit probably the best volley of my life.
I wish we had video of that. Like if we had video of that, that would definitely be on the pod because that was a legit volley.
So I'm proud. I hit probably the best shot of my life, and but you still came out on top. You came back in that third set. So but I covered. So what can I say? I'm happy.
We're such degenerates that we like, have a spread on our own matches.
Yeah. But
I legitimately feel disappointed when I don't cover the spread. I'm going home. I'm not like, oh, I got the match win. It's like, no. We didn't cover the spread. That's a loss.
And I know I'm playing pretty well if I do cover the spread or if I take a set. So if I win the over 2.5 sets, I'm happy. But we did not play this match in Monte Carlo. We played it in Randolph, New Jersey. So we're far away from whatever those guys are doing. But if we had to measure a UTR on our bets this week, what would it be? Like 4, 3?
At best. I went 1-8, I think, on Tuesday. It's like one of the worst days I've ever had. I was just like sitting there like, really what is going on? Yeah. I've had a couple of those like what is going on days.
Well, I guess before we really get into it, like let's talk about like that probably the most painful bet you're gonna have all year.
Yeah, so I bet Hurkacz and Draper to play two or more tie breaks and was getting plus 700. And things were looking a little rocky in the beginning because Draper wasn't so hot in the beginning, went down 5-love, but then he came back, won the second set tiebreak. Third set he was down a break, but then he broke back, which was nice.
Right.
Got to 6-5-6 40-love Draper serving. And he got broken.
To lose 7-5.
Yeah, like I don't know how that I don't know what the odds are there. Like it's like under.
They probably take it off the board, to be honest. It's so like the chances that it goes to a tiebreak there are so big that they probably take it off the board that he gets broken there.
Yeah, well, I'm just looking at like Hurkacz's so like Hurkacz on clay, he wins more points than you think, like 37%.
Mm-hmm.
So if you like, I don't know, if you multiply that by like 3, just quick math, like it's gonna be something like, I don't know, like less than 1 out of 100 that he actually like breaks from there. Like it was just like from 40-love down. Because
definitely. I mean, I would have been shocked if it was Djokovic or Alcaraz on the other side of the net. I mean, this is Hurkacz, who is a below average returner. You know, like
right.
You know, he rarely breaks when he's down, when he's up 30-40. You know, like in a
I know.
You know, like it's just. I mean, I was just dumbfounded. I had Draper to win the tiebreaker at plus 775, I think. But I placed just a third set bet. You placed, like I placed a live bet. You placed it before the match that there would be more than 2 tiebreakers, right?
That's or 2 or more tiebreakers. Yeah,
which I think is a great bet with like the majority of Hurkacz matches, to be honest. Like,
getting 7-1, I thought it was a great bet. Like,
yeah,
I would have taken it like 5-1 probably. I thought 7-1 was amazing. I mean, Hurkacz, he just plays like the dude just loves to play like 3-set matches and loves to play tiebreaks, which I guess is fine because like his game actually doesn't require that much energy because it's just serve and push.
Mm-hmm. But honestly, credit to him. Like, he's mentally strong. You know, like.
Oh yeah, I mean, honestly, like he's just limited, right? He's just like limited. He's got some limitations. Like he's a big guy.
He never gives in, really. You know, like
no, he's just like not. He's a decent mover, but he's just not like an explosive athlete. I think is probably the problem, as opposed to like a Shelton or a Shelton is probably the best example of a dude who's a really explosive athlete, but is like sloppy, or like a Popperin is also really explosive, but sloppy. Like Hurkacz is the opposite. Like he's definitely not sloppy, but he's just a little like not explosive as an athlete. He's a decent athlete. He's just not explosive.
Yeah, and he's better moving like side to side than he is like up and down. Like he's not,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
I mean, credit to him. I think physically he's, like he's a good competitor. He doesn't give in physically
definitely a good competitor.
much.
Yeah,
And like,
professional.
yeah, professional, has a great serve, and like for him to be top 10 like with that game, it's quite
Yeah,
impressive. Like every time I watch him, I'm like, how the hell is this guy in the top 10? And then like,
I get it because he's got the serve. Like
right,
if you can serve at that level,
right.
and like the thing with the serve and push is like he doesn't like unlike some of the other big servers who do struggle, he doesn't really give away points.
No,
Like
not
from any
really.
point of the court, he doesn't really give away points. Unlike a guy like, so let's say you got a guy, because there are some like good servers who are a little bit lower ranked, a guy like a Khachanov, right? For instance, who like big serve but gives away a ton of points.
Right, right. Yeah, that's the difference between those two guys, right?
Right.
So
But
yeah, I mean
yeah.
we'll get into more of Hurkacz. He's playing Yannick Sinner in the round of 16. But just like, I mean that was just such a brutal beat. I mean I don't think you're really not going to have a more brutal beat all year. I mean that was just
that was brutal.
insane. I mean that match was like, I mean I hit the over 22.5 games in that match. But we also bet the over 9.5 games in set 1, which I thought was a great bet. I know Match Point 9 also had that. But
Yeah.
like,
I mean, it was minus
course,
150 the over 9.5, but I still thought it was good.
I thought it was good. I mean, the fact that I think Hurkacz played tiebreakers in the majority of his like first sets this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean he plays a ton of tiebreaks. And he almost never goes. I think I posted on the Twitter. He has like a 30, he's some insane streak of matches where he's gone at least 9 games in the first set.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I want to say it's like 30 something matches.
That's crazy. It's
like he's like there isn't like yeah, every first set with him. So it's going at least 9.
Right.
And like I don't know, like it could go longer.
He was up 4-love, and then Draper
actually was 5-love, wasn't he?
No, that was today. That was Berrettini.
Okay.
I think he was up 3-love though. And then, or no, 4-love. And then
Draper I know he was up double break.
Competitive, yeah.
Yeah.
Draper made it competitive. He got 1 break back, nearly got the second one, I think.
Yeah, I think he had break points to get the second one back.
I think, yeah. Right. So another painful bet loss.
Yeah, it was the over 9.5 there. Yeah, I mean, everything's just been pure pain, man. It's kind of disappointing that Zapata and Sonego, my 2 long shots to make the final, are both out. But I don't feel bad about those bets. Like at 100-1, like I don't know, like dumb. Like
I feel like the Zapata bet was over while we were doing the podcast.
It was
because we
didn't think it was dumb. Like I still think it was dumb, even though it lost. Like when you bet stuff at 100-1, sometimes it's gonna flame out, right? Like it's like that's part of the risk you're taking. Like
yeah, that's true.
It's Sonego losing to Medvedev. Like you would expect that. Like if it's even money, I'll take Medvedev plus 100 against Sonego, obviously, right? Like it was just like he's a talented dude who like could pull it off, right?
Do you think the crazy comeback against Humbert, do you think that played a factor today against
maybe
Medvedev?
A little bit, but I think it's more like if Medvedev, like he's just a better player. Like he's so much better, right? He's just so much more consistent and solid. Like unless Sonego plays top level tennis, like the problem with Sonego, right, is he can just play bad sometimes too. Right? Like you don't know what Sonego you're gonna get. Like,
exactly. I mean, I honestly think it's a bad matchup for Sonego. Right?
Oh, it's a horrible matchup. It's horrible matchup. Because even when he makes some of his great shots, Medvedev's going to run him down and put him back. Like,
and this matchup really didn't have anything to do about clay, right? Like it doesn't matter.
That's one of my takeaways is that like we've seen like, so if you look at this, like the top 8 seeds have all advanced to the round of 16. So like, honestly, for the most part, like the better tennis players are just winning these matches. Right. Like regardless of clay, hard, whatever, like. And I think there's maybe some sort of lesson in that. Like, yeah, there are some guys who you should fade on some surfaces.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, a lot of times just being a better tennis. Like, tennis is still tennis. It's not like it's like squash all of a sudden. Like, it still is tennis.
Yeah, and it boils down to I think all of these guys are good enough where, like, if they're moving well on hard, they're also going to move well on clay. It's not like.
Well, like I said, with the exception, like there are a few guys who are single surface guys. So like Baez.
Yeah, but then we're talking Golden Swing. Like, this is not Golden Swing anymore. Like, everyone is playing this, right?
Yeah.
Top guys are playing it. So, I
mean,
no,
if you're talking top 10, 15 guys, like,
yeah,
I can't even Medvedev is like, he's still his top 20 in the world on clay. Like we're saying, he's a hard fade. Yeah, he's a hard fade.
And I actually think he's top 10 if he embraces the surface more. It's totally mental with him. Like, I think he's capable of playing well in clay. It's just, is he going to embrace it? Is he going to, like, kind of feel like he's better? Like, if you don't believe that you're going to win tennis matches on the surface because you hate the surface, you're going to come out and lose. Like, you have to, like, go out and believe. And I feel like the confidence that he's built in February and March is going to kind of translate a little bit.
It might.
So, yeah. Let's talk a little bit about Struff and Berrettini today. That was another bad,
wild match. Yeah,
wild.
You gotta hand it to Berrettini, man. That guy, like you love Berrettini. Look, he's mentally tough. Like, you gotta love his mentality. Like, absolutely, he's got major flaws, but he doesn't move that well, and the backhand is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But he is really smart, and he's really mentally tough.
Yeah,
and
100%.
I got a lot of respect for a guy who come back after blowing that first set the way he did from 5-love up.
Yeah.
And supposedly he also had a chest injury, and he still managed to get through Cerundolo, who's like a solid just a solid player in general. Like, Cerundolo's not like amazing. He's not like rocking the world on fire, but he's solid. He's ranked in the top 30.
Yeah, he's solid. And clay's his best surface. He's going to make you earn it. He's going to make a lot of balls.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there are not a lot of guys who would come back from what happened in that first set for sure. You put like Musetti in that situation. You put, even Holger Rune in that situation. That second set is 6-2.
Yeah, a lot of guys. Even Rublev in that situation. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. So that was a painful beat. But yeah. I mean,
what did you think of that team? Team won a match. But then he lost to Rune.
All of a sudden celebrating when he wins a single match against a Gasquet who's like old and doesn't.
I think that it's just a good matchup for him on this surface. Like, I'm not taking a whole ton away from it, but I thought, he's just somebody who, like, we're waiting for him to, like, show signs of life. So, like, anytime he shows a pulse, it's like
a little bit better, but just a little bit. He came up against a top 10 player who played well today, and he's got no shot. Like, he's just he's just not consistently good enough. Like, they're just like, he actually has a lot of holes in his game. Like, if you expose his movement, like, it's trouble for him because he can't get out of the corners as well as he did before, and like transition from defense to offense like he used to. And that's like his biggest problem, actually. He tries to get out of defense by hitting one big shot.
Well, he's just not. I just don't think he's good as an athlete as he used to be.
Yeah, I think that plus the game has.
But he's not as explosive. He's lost a little bit of explosion.
He has, yeah. But I don't think it has anything to do with the wrist.
I just don't have another explanation for it. Like he's not that old that I would think he'd be like less explosive, unless he's got like leg issues. I don't know. Like, what else would cause him to be less explosive all of a sudden? Because it feels like he's less explosive. It feels like that, especially off the backhand wing. It feels like he just doesn't get as much on the ball anymore. Compared to his prime 3-4 years ago when he was like a legitimate competitor, legitimate threat against Nadal at Roland Garros.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it before. Maybe he hasn't improved his explosiveness, and like with how deep men's tennis is, if you're not improving, you're going backwards.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be this bad.
This bad, yeah. You're right. You're right. But yeah, I mean, it was interesting to see. Like, I thought Team was playing better. Like, I thought he played a good match against Gasquet, but then he comes up against a top 10 player, and it's like he's just got no chance. No chance, man.
Yeah, I mean, it was what, 4-2?
It was 4-2. I bet the -3.5. It was like one of my few hits. So Yeah, Holger Rune looks good. I mean, I actually think clay is his best surface, to be honest. Because
Yeah,
I think he likes
necessarily.
a
I don't
little
know.
bit more time. Like he likes more time to wind up those big groundies, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think he's a great clay court player.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard with Holger Rune because I think his biggest issue is like his biggest issues are mental and then like physical fatigue.
Yeah.
So like those don't aren't really like surface dependent things.
Okay, that's fair. It's a fair takeaway.
But I guess maybe he's like better on clay than on the surface. But like it's like I don't think he suddenly becomes like that much of a beast on clay because he still is the like against top guys he still has the mental and like physical stamina hurdles which are going to happen on all surfaces.
But do you think it's like a strength issue or like a cardio issue or like I don't really
I don't know. I think it might just be a fit. I don't know, but like he does have the cramping issue. It crapped up last year. It cropped up at Acapulco.
I feel like cramping happens less on clay than it does on hard, right?
I don't know if that's so true as it is because these events are in cooler conditions. Like the European clay season is in Europe
right
during the spring, which is like pretty nice temperatures.
But yeah, it's cool here. I actually think he's a threat. Like he played really. I mean, I know
think so too.
We
I think
back
so
on
too.
team. I mean, like I also think he has an easy matchup against Berrettini in the round of 16. I mean, we'll get into that, but like
yeah. I mean, he got
Berrettini.
Yeah, I mean that's
with his
for
chest
him.
problems.
For Rune, this is a great matchup. Like
100%.
in the round of 16, like it's yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he already has a shoe in the quarterfinals, and I'm very happy to hold the quarters future for Rune, even though it was like only plus 300 or something. But yeah, what else happened?
Gakov. We can talk a little Ivan Gakov.
Ivan Gakov.
So I hit the money line against McDonald, and he came through there. That was honestly more of a fade on McDonald just for this. I mean, I like McDonald a lot as a player, but just this isn't a great. This is probably like a terrible tournament for him. But Gakov looked good in that first set against Djokovic, man.
He did. It was a losing bet, but I think that's my bet of the week so far. Gakov to win the first set at plus 700.
Yeah, that was amazing. I mean, that was a great bet.
Very close. Right, I mean, he was up a break. At one point, I think he had 6-5, right? Djokovic had to serve to force the tiebreak.
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, he just didn't play a great tiebreak, which Djokovic does to you. But
Djokovic is such a good tiebreak player. Like he really does. Well, and the other thing is Djokovic just doesn't give away. He just doesn't give away points in tiebreaks. He makes you beat him, and it's hard to do that. You get a little nervous. It's hard to do that.
Yeah, it's tough. But yeah, I was impressed by him. I mean, he's had a great run recently in the Challenger circuit.
He has.
He qualified here.
Yeah.
Really good win against McDonald. So
he's actually somebody who I might fade. I'm actually looking for the books to overvalue this run, and I may fade Gakov.
Good idea. I actually like that idea. Yeah. I was listening to the Match.9 podcast, and John was like commenting that Gakov does have some mental issues, and like in the past would kind of like go away in matches.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen enough to really say.
I mean, I had not seen or heard of this guy before this week.
But yeah, I mean, with this run, he might get wild cards, right? Or he might get like. Well, I mean, you could bet him in qualifying. I'm sure he's going to be in the qualies in some of these events, right?
That's probably your better bet. I mean, what is his? I mean, what stinks is that like for this run, it still is only a second round of a Masters, which I think is only like. It might actually be decent. It might be like 45 points. It might not be horrible.
Yeah.
But he was ranked 198. So he's like not really like.
Yeah.
He's so like I mean, even if he picks up 10, 20 spots here, you're still talking about being someone like the 180s. Like he's still probably gonna be. He'll still be in challengers. Still got ways to go.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm gonna bet challengers, he's a name I might look for to actually see if there's fade opportunities.
I like that plan, actually. I don't think he can maintain this level. Like, I don't think this is what he showed in the first set against Djokovic is his true level. You know, that's
Yeah.
probably like
He's also 27.
Right.
He's no 26. He's 26.
Yeah.
So it'd be it wouldn't be crazy late for a breakout. We're starting to see more of these guys break out late. But 20, it's a little late for like a true breakout.
Yeah. Yeah, one thing, another guy I wanted to talk about was, I think he played, where was it? Oh, Bautista Agut against Krajinovic. So I live bet this at like 5-all, or I think 4. It was Bautista Agut was down a set, and it was like 4-5 in the second, and I live bet RBA. It was an absolute massive sweat in the second, but you're basically betting Bautista Agut to win the second set, and that's the bet, because you know that Krajinovic is going to go away, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, just his compete level is crap.
Crap, absolutely horrible. And I see the same with Khachanov actually, and we'll get into that match against Musetti. But both serves.
Yeah, what happened? I mean, honestly, that felt like a match. We just transition right to them. We stick with Krajinovic for a minute. I mean, he's had a really rough year too. He's terrible. He won a couple matches in Pune, but those were not against top competition. His wins this year are Sumit Nagal, Michael Mo, Karatsev, and Roman Safulin. Outside of that, he's lost every other match. He's 0-9 outside of that.
Can you see in those score lines, like what feels to me, whenever he's like lost a close set, the next set.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, I mean, pretty much with the exception of Fucsovics, where it was 6-3, 7-5.
Yeah.
I mean, against Safulin, he lost the first set 7-6 and came back and won. Same thing happened against Karatsev. So like, maybe it's more like, I don't know if it's a confidence thing, but it seems like when he's up against good competition, it's more of a problem. It's
more a problem.
And it's not. Maybe it's not even always a problem. It's just a problem like some of the time. But like, if it's a problem 20% of the time, it's a bettable edge. Right, but I don't think it's not like every time he goes away. It's like maybe half the time or a quarter of the time or something. But like that still is enough of an edge to be worth betting, right? Like
I agree.
That's a huge deal.
I think whenever Krajinovic wins the first set, I'm gonna live bet the opponent. That's how I'm gonna play it, because
I'm just telling you it's not automatic money print, but nothing is.
It's not. No, nothing is. I understand that, but I just think that there's value in that. I also think
there is too.
I think there's value in doing the same thing with Khachanov, because like he lost that tight first set against Musetti, and then he won 3 points in the second set. I mean, that's pathetic.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it just feels
totally
like, and that line was really weird. I wonder if like something leaked in the Khachanov camp or something, because that was such a weird line. There was nothing that told you that line should be an even money line match. And Khachanov was a slight dog. And then the market let it sit there, and like, I don't know if like it feel like there was nothing. Looking at those players over the past couple months, there was nothing that would have told you Musetti was going to win that match. Or that Musetti should be a favorite.
I agree with you. I just think that books were weighing the fact that Khachanov had a long week in Estoril. I think that was the biggest factor in setting that line.
Like, yeah, I don't know, man.
No,
I don't know. I mean,
I agree with you. I mean, it was a total trap line. We both hit it anyway, right?
Yeah.
I think all the match point 9 guys hit it too. I mean, we were all.
That's why it feels like and maybe it was just them waiting up Estoril, but like Musetti had just lost to Mueller. Like 4-4. It wasn't even that close of a match. Like I don't really get, like, I don't know. It feels like I say, it feels like if there was some sort of leak within the Khachanov camp that like some really smart bettors were on that moved that line. I don't know. I mean, like, again, this is like conspiracy theory stuff, but like,
right. Yeah, I mean,
it was just so weird.
He was competitive in that first set. Probably should have won it. I feel like he was dictating more of the points. I feel like his service games were easier than Musetti's. He just played a crap tiebreak, and after that set, he just didn't want to compete anymore.
I just feel like I just feel like he's like not. I feel like it's more of an issue of like I don't. I feel like with Khachanov just a little different. It's like it's not a lack of competing in the match. He just has like some real dips, but like some really bad dips where like he can get bageled. I
actually don't think he's very fit. I don't think he's physically fit enough. Like, and I feel like he doesn't trust his physicality to last 3 sets, like to win back-to-back sets to win the match. And it's just
I don't know. I feel like it's I just feel like it's I'm looking at results this year. So like he's got some really odd results. So like she got bageled by Shapo.
Mm-hmm.
But then he came back and made the 3rd set competitive. Got bageled by Fritz at Delray Beach, but then he came back and won the 2nd set.
But again, those are after quick sets. When has he done well after playing like a bloodbath first set or a bloodbath second set?
Well, so against Shapo, right? 6-7, 6-love, 7-5.
That's Shapo, so it's not physical points. So I scratch that one. I want to like.
Once he got bageled the first set, came back and won the 2nd, and then 7-5, and then he lost the 3rd, but like he did win the 2nd. Okay. I don't know. Like I feel like it's less of a fitness thing and more of like a. I just feel like he can just dip and like his confidence can just go away for like periods of time that are way too long. Like his confidence can go away for like a full hour, and like he'll eventually get it back, but he needs like a full hour to get it back, and like sometimes you don't have that.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I just think there's no excuse for only winning 3 points in a set. Like
I agree, but it's just like he just like goes away for like periods of time, right? And once you're down the first set, like you can't afford to go away in the 2nd set, right? Otherwise, you lose. I mean, you lose 2 sets, you lose the match.
So you think it's more mental than physical with Khachanov?
I do. I don't know. I feel like the few times I've watched him and the few times I've watched him like lose and cost me a bet, it feels like he's just gotten sad. Like he
doesn't appear particularly happy even when he's winning.
He doesn't, but like I don't know. I guess you're right, but like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just perplexing, and it just feels like his body language just like he doesn't appear happy when he's winning, but like sometimes he just like he like loses energy for like long periods of time.
I know. It's kind of a shame because we've seen him play amazing tennis. Like the way he played Alcaraz in Miami last year was like top 5 stuff. I mean, that was incredible. Yeah. So we've seen it before. It's just, he's a tough guy to bet. I mean, that matchup was between 2 fade guys, right? So
yeah.
So
Khachanov had shown a little bit in Estoril that made you think maybe he's not a fade guy.
Musetti was a pure fade, and I'm very curious to see what your takes are on the Djokovic match, which we'll get into later. But yeah, I mean, any other guys you want to touch on a little bit?
Going through and seeing if there's anything.
Wawrinka
was horrible.
Talk a little bit about Wawrinka. I just realized he's 38 years old, so I actually think he's playing quite well for 38.
Oh yeah, and for coming back from coming back, he's his ranking I don't think is there yet, but it's hard to criticize the tournament for using a wild card on him. Like he's a wild card who like can win matches. He's not a wild card like this Vacharov guy who like they put in Monte Carlo because he's from the country and he's no chance, Right.
I mean, I actually think he's playing better than Murray right now, to be honest. If you have to,
I mean,
Murray had that good run.
Really struggles on the slower courts.
I mean, like atrocious against De Minaur. Like he had trouble winning points at times in that match. Like, I don't know. I'm impressed with Wawrinka. Like, beating Holger Rune and Holger Rune and Indian Wells. Like that's a great win. And like, taking Fritz to 10-8 or 12-10 in the first set breaker. I mean, he's playing well.
Yeah. Especially on surfaces that suit him.
Yeah.
Which it's a little weird because like he actually I think is better on these. Like I think the clay here is great for him because he has time to like to
Right.
wind up those shots. I mean,
Right.
you know, and yeah, and like the challenge with Wawrinka is that like if he's playing well, it's great.
Mm.
If he's not, it's really rough because he's not a good enough athlete anymore to like do anything to really hang in there, like modify his style. The only thing he can do now is really bash the ball.
Right.
And not just mindless bashing. It's like smart, but he has to play. Like the better way to put it is he has to play aggressive at this stage. He can't do what some guys can do and like go into a lockdown mode where he's just going to make a lot of balls and like try to hang in the match.
He can't. Yeah. Right. Yeah, so one bet I placed today, I live bet it. So as soon as Fritz won the first set, 7-6, I bet Fritz minus 3.5 games at plus 110.
That was smart.
Because like I'm like, how's Wawrinka gonna keep this second set competitive? And it was 6-2. So
yeah.
I had two bets in that. I had Wawrinka to win the first set at plus 200, I think, or no, plus 140. Wawrinka to win the first set. And then I also had the 3-set line, Fritz Wawrinka. So basically that first set was what, him losing it lost me both bets indirectly. Because I think even if Wawrinka wins that set, Fritz comes back and wins the second.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, I had the Wawrinka money line. And it was solely based on like how much Fritz just like lets guys into matches.
So
even this one, he like semi let Wawrinka in.
So is that kind of where you come up with a takeaway, like that you're just kind of, we should just bet like who's the better tennis player rather than putting surface too much into account? Like, was this one?
Yeah, I mean, there's more to it than that, but like I think I was overweighting the value of surface here, and maybe even the value a little bit of current form. So maybe I devalue both. I de-weight both. I weight both of those a little less, and I weight a little more like just who's the better tennis player.
Okay, I would agree with that. I agree with that take. So yep.
Otherwise, not much else. I think everybody else to talk. I mean, we talked a little about Draper. Draper beat Baez, although I still am not like. I thought it was a little bit of a false match because Baez was 1 of 12 on break points.
I agree.
Like Baez was actually a very even match.
It was.
Like the scoreline says Draper, but Baez couldn't win an important point to save his life.
I agree with that.
Otherwise, I mean, I had a few other bets, but nothing like really to talk about. Like nothing really that's that interesting.
We really don't know much about Sinner or Tsitsipas because they both have retirements. So Bonsai retired against Tsitsipas, and Schwartzman retired against Sinner. So we don't really have many takeaways. I mean, they both look fine.
Yeah, I mean, but all those guys are in the round of 16 coming up tomorrow, so we can probably transition into tomorrow's match. Which tomorrow's like, I wish I was there, man. This is one of the best days of tennis.
Oh,
like this is an amazing day of tennis tomorrow. You got all 8 round of 16 matches, and the top 8 seeds all made it through to the quarters, or not the quarters, the round of 16.
It's freaking incredible,
which is awesome.
Yeah.
So we kick it off on Court Rainier 3 tomorrow with Hurkacz Sinner.
Yeah, very interesting first match. Just looking at the lines here, I'm gonna pull it up right now. We got Hurkacz at plus 285. Sinner's a minus 380.
I get that.
Sinner's a 4-game favorite.
Now, some things to think about, Manny. Something to think about tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The weather is cold tomorrow, under 60. High of 61, which is cold for these guys, I would argue.
Is it sunny?
Looks like more of a mix. Chance of rain, 80% chance of rain in the middle afternoon. Okay. So that's something to consider also. Like this, I mean, now it is supposed to, I don't know, does Monte Carlo have lights?
They do.
So this match will probably get played because the rain is supposed to go away at night. But it could be, and the ring's not supposed to start until like mid to early afternoon, and this is an 11 a.m. start. But it's cold. I mean, it's going to be the night tomorrow there, so it's going to be, like I said, it's in the 50s. So cold.
Yeah, but the
like
match
for
is
tennis,
at
that's
11.
cold.
Yeah, it's 59 degrees at match when the match starts. But it's in the like I'm looking here, the late morning, early afternoon, it's sunny. So I don't think
really? My app says 2 p.m. 77% chance of rain.
really.
Yeah.
This is not a weather podcast. Who's the real meteorologist here? Which app are you looking at?
I'm looking at the Weather Channel.
The Weather Channel.
Yeah, man. I don't know if they're any good or not, but that's who we're rocking.
That's what we're going with. Okay, I mean, so are you saying that's pro Sinner here because like the serve is not gonna be as effective and like obviously clay is worse for Hurkacz? Are you
I don't know.
thinking about laying games here?
I don't know because thing is I guess if it's cooler that should slow the court down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which Sinner's the more explosive hitter off the ground and the guy more likely to make errors. So I don't think it helps either guy.
Yeah. I mean, so Hubie.
What's the game spread here?
It's 4.
That's a big spread against Hubie.
It is. But the thing is, if it's really slow, right? Like Sinner is going to be able to get some breaks. Is Hubie going to be able to break Sinner? That's the question. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, 4 feels like a lot, but at the same time, what is the over? So one of our favorite plays on Hubie now is the over 9.5 in set 1. What is that line at?
Good question. It's not available in the book that I'm looking at right now. Let's see. I guess we could put Bobada's lines up. Let me share the screen here. Um,
115 is the over under on 9.5 is at minus 115. I think that's the play. It's a Hubie Hurkacz match.
I agree. I think that's a great play.
And I think it's the only play. Unless do you like Sinner over under at the over? I mean, well, do you like Sinner on the over on the over 12.5 at minus 125?
I kind of like that. I could see Hubie getting to 5 games in one set. I was considering that.
I think those are the 2 plays.
I don't like Sinner 2 sets to love just because we don't know, we don't really have a big sample size of Sinner on clay.
We don't. And then the other thing that concerns me here is with the weather, if there's a weather delay, that could be really annoying. This is a match. This match starts at 11 a.m. And again, using my weather app, which who knows, this isn't a weather podcast, but I mean, I'm seeing an 80% chance of rain from 1 to 4 p.m. but only a 10% chance at 11 a.m. So this match could start. This match could start. You get through a set and a half, and you go to a rain delay.
Right.
Which just throws a wrench into any bet you're going to make.
So Hubie's the over under is 21.5. So usually Hubie matches are what, 22.5, right? Do you prefer
Yeah.
that, or do you prefer the Sinner over 12.5?
I think I prefer the Sinner over 12.5. Like, I could see well, the thing is, like, Hubie does compete. Like,
So how about, but what about Hubie over 9.5 then? No, but then he needs to get to 5 in both sets.
yeah.
So yeah.
But like Hubie, I mean, I'm trying to look and see, like, yeah, I don't know. I think the set one is the play, and then if you like the Sinner over 12.5, I think that's the other potential play. I might hit those two.
How good would you need the money line to be on Hubie to pounce on that?
Probably close to where it is on Sinner. I probably need close to 4-1. I just like,
4-1.
how does Hubie win this match? Like, he's not the better tennis player.
Yeah, he's not. But I feel like with Hubie, like it doesn't really matter who he plays. Like he's going to be competitive with whoever he plays, you know? And like Hubie's like push style, serve and push. Like if Sinner is having an off day, for example, right? And he's like missing, Hubie's one of the last guys you want to play.
Yeah, I mean,
You know?
yeah.
So I like the more we talk about it, the more I like the over 12.5, to be honest. I think Hubie can make this competitive. I actually like the over here on games as well. But I'm probably gonna stick with what you're going with. I like the 305. I gotta think about it a little more, but I might hit that. I might put like half a unit on that just for fun.
So, yeah, I mean, he does have 3 top 10 wins in the past year. Granted, obviously not on clay, but he took a set off of Ruud at last year's Roland Garros. Like, that's a good question. What is is there a head-to-head here?
I know they played in the Miami final in the COVID year, which Hubie won.
2-1 Hubie.
Yeah. Sinner won ATP finals. Hubie won in Dubai and Miami.
But that's not the same Sinner.
Yeah, it's not the same Sinner, and it's different surface as well. So
And I do think Sinner's gotten better against like top guys this year. He's played better against top guys, so I'm not really worried about that. I'm not really worried about physicality because, like, I don't think Hubie's going to wear Sinner out.
Yeah, and it's the Sinner's barely played, so he's rested, right? So that's not.
Well, on top of that, like, I don't see, like, this isn't a Medvedev who's going to run down a million balls and like force, like he's going to make, like, Hubie will make Sinner, like, I guess that's the other question too, is like, can Hubie make Sinner hit balls anymore? Like, with how explosive Sinner is off both wings, can Hubie serve and push? Like, yeah, he's not going to make errors, but it's not like he's going to run balls down in the corners like Medvedev does. He's a good athlete for a tall guy, and the extra reach gives him an advantage. But like, he's not like that good of. He's not an elite defender. I wouldn't say.
No. I just think like if Sinner is a little off, this match could get complicated. Because like
Yeah,
like I
I think it's
he's
close.
gonna
I could
try to
see
beat
going
him.
money line here. I'm not going to do it because I think it's like, I think the money line is pretty well set here. Like, I wouldn't hit the Sinner at minus 400 either. But like, where do you think the money line should be?
I think it should be like 275.
So minus 320 plus 275, something like that.
Right. That's kind of where I would put it. I think just Hubie's like with, the fact that he doesn't go away. He has an amazing serve. He plays top 10 players decently. Like I think he deserves enough respect where he shouldn't be over like 300 against anyone besides like Alcaraz or Djokovic kind of thing, you know?
I hear you.
It's still,
I hear you.
you know, Sinner's been amazing. He's been top 5, but like he's not those two guys, you know, right? Yet,
Yeah.
or he's
Yeah.
not Medvedev on hard court. So, I don't know. I think I'm probably going to stay away just because I have Sinner to win the quarters, like as a future. I guess it's a decent hedge.
So I put a Sinner future down as well. I have to make the final at 9-1.
Okay, I like that too. I like that
Yeah.
too. Yeah. All right, so we got 2 plays there. I like that.
Yep. Yep. You got Brad to make a play in a match. Good job, Manny.
Next match, Jan Leonard, Struff, and Casper Ruud. You got Ruud as a minus 300 favorite. Struff is plus 240. It's a 3.5 game spread. The over-under is 22.
Jan
What's
Lenny's been good, man.
huh?
Jan Lenny's
Lenny?
been good lately for the most part. But like the problem is like there's these occasional blips.
Right.
Like he lost to Hugo Gaston
In Marrakech. Yeah, exactly.
in Marrakech, yeah.
Exactly.
But he's been good, but he just whooped. I mean, I don't know if whipping Demon on this surface is like that amazing, but he did. He has the power to compete with Ruud.
I was shocked because I thought De Minaur played pretty well against Murray. I think I weigh wins against Murray too heavily. Like, Murray is not that good. Like, just because you beat Murray doesn't mean much. It's like, yeah, I don't even know what to equate it to. Like, it's like Musetti beating Nardi, right? Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean anything. So,
Musetti beating Nardi.
love and love.
But yeah, I mean, Struff, like I said, with the like he's had the blip. He had like the silly blip against Hugo.
Mm-hmm.
But like for the most part, he's been really good, regardless of whether it's challenger, like where it is. He's been really good.
That being said, I'm laying the games. I'm laying 3.5. I don't think that's like it's not that much. 3.5.
What's the laying the sets?
Minus 110.
It's better odds. I mean, do we see a 6-2 set here potentially?
I see that the most probable scoreline I see is like a 7-6, 6-3 kind of thing. That's how I see it. I see the first set being competitive, and then like I feel like Struff is just gonna have to like kind of redline and play like his absolute best tennis just to kind of keep it close.
What's the over under for set 1? 9.5?
9.5 minus 110. The reason why I don't like that, besides like playing it with Hubie, is that it depends on who serves first. So you're basically betting into the coin toss. You know?
Well, the coin toss is playing in, but you're not. I mean, like you're also. I mean, even if Struff loses let's say Struff has to serve second, like he still could hold the first 4 games. Also, this is clay, so like there's
Yeah, it's a
going to be
little bit
breaks
less
both
of clay.
ways.
Right.
But
Yeah.
that also doesn't lend itself to an over 9.5. Like more breaks is bad for that over for the over for over bets
Right.
and sets.
Right.
I mean, like I don't know. I think I like Ruud 2-0 here.
Yeah. What's a tougher match? Beating Van de Zandschulp or beating Struff?
I think beating Struff.
it's pretty close, right? And like
Yeah.
Ruud was very close against VDZ. What was it, 5-6?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like he's gonna play a little better. Like he didn't play very well against VDZ today. I'm fine either way. I just think you have to go pro Ruud here because like I don't like. I think the line should actually be like plus 300 for Struff here. Kind of where he
Yeah.
is. But
I don't know. This is a
yeah, you know what? I'll do the Ruud 2-0. You talked me into that one. It's a little bit better than laying the games. I actually don't mind the Struff under 10.5 games at minus 105. Which I guess you're basically betting 2 sets to love for Ruud then, but
I also don't hate in a parlay here, just going Ruud minus 300
yeah.
as a parlay piece. Like I actually think
I think
like
a money line parlay is a great play tomorrow, actually. Like if you parlay Sinner, Ruud, Tsitsipas, Djokovic, Rune, and do you want to add Medvedev?
no.
All right, we'll get into that, but all right, so just like those, we were in agreement on those 5, right?
Yeah. But they're not letting you parlay that.
I'll put it in. That's plus 258 if you just bet those 5 winners. I think that's a
A
great
lot of legs for plus 258, but I don't hate it.
I like it.
Looking at it, I would probably pull out the Sinner leg
Okay.
and just take the plus 200 or whatever's left with the 4 because I think Hubie's a little scary.
Plus 186.
Like I think I like that a lot better because I mean, how do any of those dogs win that? The only dog there who's like remotely scary to me is Jarry, but Tsitsipas is the 2-time defending champ here. Like,
I think he wins. I think that's a close match, but I think he wins that. But like still, I'm not 100% sure about the shoulder. I'd almost want to take
yeah,
Tsitsipas out and put Medvedev in, but like I guess I think much higher of Medvedev in this matchup than you do.
yeah.
Um, like I would actually rather do that and get through plus 371 doing Sinner and Medvedev instead of Tsitsipas. But
Okay.
we'll get into it. So Ruud, are you hitting anything here? Are you gonna do the
I'm gonna hit the Ruud money line in a parlay,
okay?
and then I'm strongly considering the. But see, like Ruud, like he's really good at like winning matches, but
Mhm.
like it's tight sometimes. Like he just makes a lot of matches closer than he ought to. Like
Yeah, that's
VDZ being
true.
the perfect example.
Right.
So like
So maybe laying the games is better, right? Because then you can like you have 3 sets.
for him to get some space.
If well, because you get a little space, and then if Struff kind of goes on one of his erratic runs where he's missing a lot of easy balls, like which is very possible. You could hit that even if he loses a close or Ruud loses a close set.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because 3.5 is not that much on clay.
It's not, but you're laying minus 125 odds versus minus one, I don't know, man. I think I'm just gonna lay the minus 300 on the money line.
Okay. All right. That's fair. Khachanov and Rublev. Basically a pick 'em. I wanted to hear your thoughts because I was staring at this line for like 15 minutes and I couldn't come up with a conclusion. So what are you thinking? Same thing? You were just staring at it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited for this match tomorrow. The market's telling me
Yeah.
I should be, right? Like that's
Right.
my first thought. I mean, so what's the head-to-head here?
I mean, it's kind of irrelevant. I think it's only like 2-1 Khachanov or something.
Yeah, you're right. It's 2-1 Khachanov.
1 Khachanov, but they haven't
But
played.
and I looked at this earlier today. It's 2-1 Khachanov,
But they
they're
practice
all
all
on
the time.
fast surfaces.
They practice all the time, so that's kind of irrelevant. Right? Like I'm sure they play they know each other's games inside and out. Do you like the over 2.5 set line at plus 135? I was thinking about that. I think I'm gonna hit that. Just because of how even
What is Khachanov plus a set and a half minus 215?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like if the market is telling you a coin flip, plus 135 for the set line feels pretty good.
It does. Who do you think is the like favorite just to win the match? Like who would you pick gun to your head to win this match?
Yeah, it's really tough. They're both like the same freaking dude. Like they're both the same player. The only difference is Rublev's forehand is much better and Khachanov's backhand is much better.
Right.
Which is awesome, actually, because like this should be a really fun match because it's going to be strength on to strength.
Yeah, they're going to be a ton of great rallies from the back of the court, but they're not really good in the forecourt. Both struggle volleying. Both are kind of unwilling to volley, right?
Well, Khachanov, you understand why.
Yeah.
Because once you see him come in, you completely understand why he's not volleying. Like for him, it's probably a good strategic decision not to volley. And Rublev seems actually better than that. He just doesn't seem to like
not comfortable because he's not a very agile athlete, right? So I think Rublev is a slightly better tennis player.
I think Rublev, because like if I'm gonna take a forehand versus a guy's backhand, I think I want the forehand. Just because like forehands are easier to redirect, like they're just easier strokes to hit.
Yeah, but it's not like Khachanov's forehand is bad.
It's not like Rublev's backhand is bad either,
right? So yeah, I don't know.
And I think on slow clay, Rublev's going to get more time. I think the time is more helpful to Rublev here. Then, like, I think Rublev's a benefits from the extra time. Mm-hmm. So I think I like Rublev here.
Just Rublev money line.
Yeah, I think so. Like, or maybe the 3 set line.
You like Rublev 2-1 at plus 345? Or Khachanov 2-1 at plus 355? I actually like those more. If we both think it's gonna, it's like a pick 'em where it's gonna go 3 sets, right? Just pick a winner and then play the 2 sets to 1.
Yeah, I always feel like I get burned doing that. You just need so much to go right for it to hit. Like you need Khachanov to like be good enough to win a set and Rublev to be good enough to win the match. But I don't hate it. Like, if you're
But
gonna
it's
do it,
like,
this would be the time.
yeah, because both guys are like mentally they stay in it. Like Rublev gets pissed and stuff, but like he never goes away mentally. Like he always
I'm
competes.
gonna disagree there. He did in the ATP finals against Ruud. He did against Djokovic. Like, there's definitely been instances of him doing that.
But he's not going to do it here because he's not like overmatched, right?
Yeah, but I don't think Casper Ruud's really overmatching him either. Was it Ruud that blew him out in the World Tour Finals? It was, right?
Yeah, it was Ruud in the semis. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't think he's going to do that here because like Khachanov has a
I don't
lot
think
of
so.
points he can
I
expose,
think
plus they're friends and like. I'm going to do that. You know, well, why not bet a long shot here?
all right. I don't hate it.
Yeah.
If anything, I'm gonna go Rublev money line, but like that 10 cents of juice might be enough to keep me off. Like, it's such a I already have futures on Rublev, so I might just ride my futures and just like enjoy the match. Like,
yeah, you could do that. You could do that too.
But I gotta think about it, man. This one's maybe I'll just play the odd even line.
The odd even line.
Yeah, I don't know, man. This one, that's a tough one.
Jarry and Tsitsipas.
So I have a Tsitsipas futures here as well, 6.5 to 1 to win the whole cookie.
Okay.
He's a 2-time defending champ, and he's a 2-time defending champ. Djokovic has been up and down here. Like, if the shoulder's good, and Tsitsipas says the shoulder's good, like, the only reason I would believe him here is because he said it wasn't good in Miami and it wasn't.
I don't trust him, period, though. Like, there's something about Tsitsipas I don't really trust. You know?
Yeah, I mean, there have been instances of him just losing stupid matches where he gets like, yeah.
And also, like, I feel like his dad tells him what he needs to say, and then, like, you know, like, I don't really trust what Tsitsipas says. I want to actually see it for myself.
That's true. That's true.
So
for me, it was just like at 6.5 to 1, I couldn't avoid it. Given that we're at this point, like, I mean, he's a 2-time defending champ. Like, he's the best player on this surface. Like, he's the best player at this tournament, not named Djokovic for sure. Just as a pure tennis player on the surface.
Okay, I agree with you, but I think this is an interesting matchup because Jarry is a great server. He's a big server, and Tsitsipas struggles on return. That's the weakest part of Tsitsipas's game. So I think,
but it's gotten a lot better.
It's gotten better, but if his shoulder is still hurting him and Jarry is hitting that big bomb up high to his backhand, that's going to be troubling for him. Like, I
don't like. But do you really? So you want to bet on him being injured still? Like, do you still actively think he's injured, or do you just not know?
I don't really know, but this is the one matchup where I like Jarry here, like playing either plus the games or over, or I don't think I'm gonna go money line. I would need to see plus 300 or better here.
I hate the 3.5. I hate taking the 3.5 games.
3.5 is a bit low, yeah. So
like, if you're gonna do that, just take a set.
Okay, what's plus 1.5 sets here?
Even money.
But again, I don't see him winning the match. Like, I like Tsitsipas 2-1 as well.
It's really interesting they're only giving you plus 275 on Tsitsipas 2-1.
It's not really good. I might just hit the over on games, or I might do what's Tsitsipas over. They're giving only over 13. That's dumb. Like, if I could get Tsitsipas over 12.5 at like minus 125, I think I'm going to take that. And I actually like over 9.5 in this match too, first set.
That's what I was looking at. But I don't know, man. So Jarry just got beat last time out by Popper in 6-3 in the first. He just lost to Popper in last time in the first set 6-3.
Yeah, I hear you. I
Like
just
Jarry has not been good on this European clay. Like so far, he's beaten Cor. He beat down Coric, which is like
everyone
I don't know
beats.
that I get that.
Coric
Yeah,
might be a bigger
and then he
fade guy
lost to
than Musetti, but
Vavasari and Poprin. So I really have no faith in Jarry. Tsitsipas was beating Bonsai, right? But it was only like 4-1 or
yeah, I
something.
think it was 3-1 or something like that. 3-1 or 4-1. Yeah, I just think like I look at what Tsitsipas is bad at because like he's a great player and he's like minimized some of the holes, but he still has gaping holes, right? His return of serve is the weakest part of his game still, and especially on the backhand side. So I think
Yeah.
if Yari is like serving well, that's going to be a tough match for Tsitsipas. I'm going to look for an over 12.5 line. I don't like the over 13 here. I'm going to look for an over 12.5 and play the over 9.5 games in the first set. That's how I'm going to play this match.
I'm gonna go Tsitsipas and lay the games.
3.5.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Tsitsipas keeps saying that his shoulder is like he said it more than once. Like the consistent message is the shoulder is good. He's talked about it in like a little bit of depth and like feeling confident and happy and like I don't know. Like
Okay.
and I also like I said, I mean Yari like he hasn't been good here on European clay this year. And it's not so much the serve, it's cooler here, so that doesn't help Yari's serve.
That's a good point. It was pretty warm in Santiago, so
I mean, that whole golden swing is crazy hot, right? That was all 80s and
right,
90s.
right.
Um,
True.
so I think I'm gonna lay, and I think I like laying 3.5 here as opposed to 4. So I think I think I'm gonna lay the 3.5. Like I could still get
Lay
there with the 6
3.5.
and 3. I could lose a close set and get there if he breaks a couple times in the second or third set. Like, what time of the day is this match?
It's second on Ranier Trois. So it's gonna be like 12:30, 1 o'clock.
So it
Depending
could
on
be right in
how
the middle of
long
a rain delay.
could be.
I still think I'm gonna
I'm
lay
hoping my
games
weather app
here.
is great.
What?
I'm hoping my weather app is correct.
You just don't want rain. I don't want rain either. Like
I
this
don't
is
want
supposed to be a
rain.
fun day of tennis.
It will be.
Um.
Um,
Oh man, look
okay.
at that. The line just moved. It's down to 130 now for the laying the 3.5.
Yeah.
I.
You better hit it before it moves to 4.
I know.
Yeah. But
But I think that's the.
I'm gonna stick with the Tsitsipas over 12.5. Bovada's not offering it, but I'm sure I could find it somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure you can.
Yeah. So, all right, next match: Djokovic Musetti. So I like a couple of things here. I like laying the games with Djokovic at -5. I like Djokovic under 12 at -110. I even like Djokovic -1.5 sets at -175. Like I actually think I'm gonna add that in my parlay and not like I think the books are giving Musetti way too much respect off of a love and love on Luca Nardi and a win versus Khachanov. I understand that he's flashy. I understand that like he has potential, but like this is such a next level up, you know.
So is Gakov better than Musetti? It's kind of a joke, right? I don't think it's actually that relevant of a question here.
I think Gakov redlined and played amazing tennis in the first set.
I'm kidding. I'm mostly kidding. Like I don't really think it. Like I don't really think it's a particularly relevant question. It was Djokovic's first match in the tournament. Like there's a lot of. It was really only the first set that was 7-6, right? Then Djokovic got his,
right. Like, but for Djokovic to win 2-1 at plus 295, like that's like you really think Musetti can win a set? I understand he took 2 off at the French Open, but like those were tiebreak sets, and Musetti.
I actually do like the way Musetti plays. Like,
I mean, let's look at their head to head. In terms of tennis, like watching tennis, this is one of the best matchups, honestly. Like
it is.
Musetti has so much flair, so athletic.
Yeah.
Djokovic plays an athletic brand of tennis, so it's very fun to watch. But we're not betting on how fun is it to watch. We're betting on like what the actual result will be. Like Dubai 3-3, Paris 11-3. I mean, I understand those are hard. You take those 2 tiebreak sets, it's 1 love and love.
But Musetti just ran out of gas.
Okay, but like I think he redlined and played insane tennis those first 2 sets, and it was 6-6. So I don't think
I agree.
Like close to that level yet. And that was a round of 16 at the French. It's not like it was a first round. Right? So Musetti was playing excellent tennis leading up to that.
I agree.
So I'm very pro Djokovic here. And I think the books are giving Musetti too much respect. Like I'm actually glad that Musetti beat Nardi love and love, because I think the books are like, oh, he's actually playing well again. Whereas is he really?
Yeah. I don't know. This might be a stay away. Just a dead pure stay away. Like, or maybe, I mean, yeah, like
I just don't know.
I don't love the Djokovic under 12.5. I think if you're going to do that, just lay the 5 games.
Okay.
Well,
that was
because I agree. I could see this being a runaway. I don't have I don't love betting Musetti. Like when it's not a pure fade, and it's not. I don't think he's a pure fade anymore. Like he's starting to like. It also could be like he was injured before. He did have a shoulder injury at some point. It could be that his shoulder's finally better, and that's why he's starting to play a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm just going to stay away. I just don't have a good feel for how this match goes. I think it could go a lot of different ways, which to me says stay away. But I hear you on why you would go. I think your logic is fine. I don't think your logic is bad. I just, yeah. I just don't trust Musetti to be good or bad.
Yeah, I just like you're giving Djokovic to win straight sets at minus 175. If that Nardi match doesn't happen, that's 250 or 230.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
Well, you've got the Khachanov win also, right? So he backed it up 2 wins.
Okay. Yeah,
there's a narrative here that says that Musetti is slowly is getting back into form. Like, I don't know.
I mean, he looked pretty good against Khachanov, but like I need to see more before like I take him off my fade list or
I think the logic is sound. I hate betting. Like you just don't know what Musetti. Like I don't trust Musetti in either direction. I don't trust Djokovic in either direction here in this tournament. So you got 2 guys who I don't trust in either direction. So I'm just going to stay away.
Okay. I mean, maybe the books are taking into account like Djokovic hasn't been that good here recently, so it's like maybe like if this match was in Rome, for example. Well, Rome would be Musetti's home country, but like you put it in Madrid or at the French, different.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. All right, next match, Fritz and Lehecka. This one I'm actually really looking forward to. I don't really have a good feel. This is another one I was like staring at for like 20 minutes and like didn't really know what to hit. You have what are your thoughts?
What's the money line? Is it only 140?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think this line is pretty much right. Like, what is Fritz over 12.5? Or what is the over-under on Fritz? It could be 13.
No, it's 12.5 minus 130.
I don't think that's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because Fritz, like, he does compete. So then you just need like, assuming he's competitive in all 3 sets or in all the sets, you just need him to you just need him to so you just need Lehecka to get to 5 in 1 set, assuming Fritz is competitive in all sets. Like, I think that's decent. Fritz loves, I mean, we've talked about this before. Fritz loves to play close matches.
Mm-hmm. True. But okay, so if this match is on hard court, what is this line?
It depends on the hard. Well,
So if you
it's
play this
probably like
match in like
4.
Indian Wells or Miami, for example.
It's probably like 3.5.
And Fritz is like minus what, 240, 250?
Yeah, something like that. But this is, I mean, like, this would be the service Lehecka would want this match on.
Right. And it's like a slow clay.
Yeah.
What's the 3-set line here? Plus 135? I don't mind.
I like that. I mean, honestly, I like anything that's like, I think that's the play here is what's the over under, the 22, 22 and a half, something like that?
22 and a half. I prefer the over 2.5 sets.
Yeah.
I don't like playing over 22 like on clay. I'd rather play the sets because like
I hear you. It's just that Fritz loves to play close sets, man. What's the over 9.5 for the first set?
minus 135.
Yeah. Yeah. You're starting to stretch it out a little bit there.
Yeah.
I
like the Fritz. I agree with you on the 12.5.
The lines that I like here are the Fritz over 12.5,
And
the
3
set
sets.
line, and then the over 22.5. And I just have to pick between those. Like, my favorite, I think, of those is the Fritz over 12.5.
Mm-hmm. My favorite
And then
is the over 2.5 sets.
I think my second favorite is the over 2.5 sets line.
Yeah. None of these are parlay pieces, in my opinion.
No.
Right.
No. I really don't like the Fritz and straights. That looks awful to me.
Yeah, that's terrible. Plus 140? No, that's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I mean, this is a very interesting match because it's like, I think Lehecka prefers clay over hard, right? I would say.
Yeah.
And then like, but Fritz is the better tennis player, right? He's just more accomplished, just slightly better. So in terms of that, like it's a very interesting matchup. Like I think that takeaway that you had where it's like, do we just bet the better tennis player or do we bet the, because of the surface? Like I think this match kind of answers that question really,
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
So I'm actually really looking forward to see that match. Next one, Medvedev.
An interesting little tidbit.
Mm-hmm.
The last guy to beat Fritz in straights here is Djokovic, and that was 2 years ago in Rome. He's won at least a set in his last 11 matches on clay. Fritz has.
Wow. Interesting.
Not a lot of top competition there. Like, because again, he loses a lot of matches he shouldn't also. But like, but there, I mean, there's top 20 guys in there. There's like Cilic, Fokina, Garin, Korda. So like, it's not all, bums. And those guys are all probably somewhere close to Lehecka's level. I mean, I think it just gives more credence to the 12.5. The Fritz over 12.5.
What are Fritz's last losses on clay?
Bernabe last year in Roland Garros in 4.
Okay.
Fokina in last year's, and that's the only close. Then Fokina last year at Monte Carlo in 3.
Mm-hmm.
Garin in Houston last year in 3. Kepfer in the 21 French. That's not great. And Djokovic in Rome in 21. That's the last time he lost in straights.
I'm actually liking Lehecka money line more here now.
Yeah, I hear it. I just don't. I think the money line is perfectly set. Like, which means I think Lehecka has a decent chance, but like, I think Fritz should be like, what do you think this should be? Like closer to minus 130 and plus 110 for Lehecka or something?
Yeah, plus 125. I think they're giving Fritz slightly much respect. I mean, he should have lost the first set to Wawrinka. And I view Lehecka as...
Could have, right? That was a very even first set.
It was, but like... Lehecka looks good. I mean, I think these slow conditions help him. Like, it gives him more time to wind up on the big shots.
Oh, it does for sure. Like, this is, I mean, if there's a court to play this match at, this is where Lehecka wants to play this match. It's just
that I'm gonna hit Lehecka money line. I'm gonna hit the over 2.5 sets, and I'm gonna hit Lehecka money line. That's how I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna do 2 bets on that.
I don't hate it. I prefer just I prefer the overs here, but
okay.
The more I like it, I think I really like the 3-set line. Just take the 3-set line.
Yeah, just take the 3-set line.
Yeah, because I think like Fritz loves to play close matches, man. Like, yeah. I've said it many times on this podcast, and he always seems to, every time I say it, he seems to like decide that this is the day he wants to blow somebody out, like a la Nava. But even now was a close first set.
I want to look at Fritz's wins recently. How often does he go over 12.5? Okay, Wawrinka, he did. All right, Alcaraz will throw that away. Rune, he didn't go 12.5 in Miami.
But the only real guy there he beat who's that good is Rune. Right? 2 of those are Shapo and Nava.
Right. Nowhere near.
Yeah, I mean, lately he's been better, but again, it's against like weaker competition. Like Lehecka's better than a lot of these guys.
Yeah, on his preferred surface as well.
Yeah.
But like on clay.
I mean, if you look at Fritz on clay, he like every match he plays is close. Doesn't matter who.
Fokina, Korda, Cilic, even Katarina.
Like every match is going to be close, with the exception of Tabilo in weird Houston clay.
Yeah, so for me, that points it into Lehecka money line because, like, if Lehecka plays well, he should win. Because I also think he's slightly above some of these guys. I think he's slightly above Garin. I think he's slightly above Cilic at this point in their careers. Probably similar to Korda. Similar to ADF.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the argument would be like Fritz doesn't really have many great clay wins. Like Cilic at last year's Monte Carlo is a good win.
Mm-hmm. Korda's a good win.
Korda's a good win.
That's it.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, that's almost it for his career.
Right.
Yeah, I actually don't hate Lehecka money line. I think this is all like how aggressive you want to be. Well, but maybe not. I mean, I don't know. Do you think Lehecka wins this in 2 sets ever? That seems
No,
aggressive, right?
I think it's 3 sets. I like the over 2.5 set line.
So you play both, or yeah.
I'm gonna play both here. I don't want to play just Fritz or Lehecka 2 sets to 1. That's too much risk. But I'm willing to play the over 2.5 sets and Lehecka money line.
Okay.
So yeah. But I'm very much looking forward. This, I think this and the Rublev match might be
I think the Rublev match is the match of the day. I just think that's a fascinating matchup. I think it's a much more fascinating matchup than Fritz Lehecka. Not anything against the Fritz Lehecka match, but I just think the Rublev Khachanov matchup is
it's really
more fun.
Yeah, I think to me those.
I mean, you're talking me into the Lehecka money line. I might go there also. Because like this is never Fritz and straights. I don't.
It's never.
Yeah. Unless it's like 6-5 or 6-6, that Fritz clap and pull out 2 tight sets. But like this is never one-way traffic for Fritz.
No, never. I mean, it's never one-way traffic for Lehecka either. But if you're getting plus money, you might as well hit the bumpy road for one of the other guys. Like, I think it should be like just based on Fritz's track record and like being top 5 or top 10. Like he should be a slight favorite here, but not like I think Lehecka should be plus 120, 125. That's where I would put him.
Yeah.
Slow clay court. So, all right, next match, Medvedev Zverev. So I know we already differ just based on like what we were talking about before with a parlay. I love Medvedev money line here at minus 150. That's my play.
So I don't. I like Zverev. I actually probably like Zverev money line here.
Wow.
So like he does have the elite level backhand. I actually like the fact that he lost the first set to Bublik. I think that's like a positive thing. Like and it's very understandable, right? It's his first set on clay since the injury, right? So like, he looked better against a Goot. So, I mean, granted, everybody beats RBA right now, so that's not an amazing win, but he looks better. Medvedev is the better tennis player, though, which I just said a soliloquy about. But I like this matchup for Zverev. I mean, he almost beat Medvedev at Indian Wells, and this is slower than that.
I see what you're saying. I just think like I was very curious to see Medvedev's first match, and it seemed like he's kind of embracing the clay. I really think he's capable of playing good tennis on the surface. It's not like
I agree. He's had some good wins on the surface.
He has.
But his game, like I think Zverev, I think this surface is actually good for Zverev's game. I think more time is good for him, especially on the forehand. Because that forehand is so erratic, like a little more time helps him there. And the backhand is great. It's also like Medvedev has a hard time hitting through on any courts. Like he's not going to be able to hit through Zverev. Zverev is playing, he's playing better. Like it's not going to be easy. I think it's going to be a close match. I also don't mind the 3 set line here.
Plus 135.
Yeah.
I know they won 3 sets in Indian Wells, but I'm looking prior to that. Wow, it's a close head-to-head, 7-6. Damn. This is quite the rivalry, actually.
Yeah, all on hard.
All on hard, yeah. Yeah, man, I see. To me, like you know how like Zverev was a hard fade early in the year.
Yeah,
and then he became like a semi fade, and then he became not so fade, right? like after the Dubai run. And then like he kind of did pretty well in Indian Wells, right? And then like he lost to Taro Daniel at Miami, and I was like, maybe he's back on the semi-fate list. To me, he's not all the way back yet, you know?
He's not, but I don't think he has to be all the way back to beat Medvedev here.
I kind of do. Like, I don't
I mean, this is why it's a good both sides, right? This is like, it's a really interesting, like, this is an interesting matchup to watch too. Like, I prefer the other two. So I think like we see a lot of it. Like, we'll see more of this because these guys are two just like good tennis players. But
yeah, I just think like Medvedev, he's gonna make Zverev hit a lot of balls, and Zverev, even on a clay court, and Zverev, didn't play particularly well against Bublik or Bautista Agut. Like that Bautista Agut, like who's a pretty significant fade spot right now. He's not playing well. That was what, 6-4?
4-4.
4-4. Which I guess is okay, but like Medvedev is like 2 or 3 levels above that. I can tell you I don't like Medvedev 2-0 at plus 157. Also, if a little adversity hits here for either guy, I trust Medvedev to get out of that funk a little bit better than Zverev. Do you agree with that?
Maybe a little bit, but I don't think it's a huge gap. Like I think it helped. Like it helps Zverev that they've played so many times, right? And like he has beaten him 6 times, right? So I don't, this is like Zverev versus Nadal there's like this, there's like this huge mental hill to climb, and it's a best of 5, etc. If this was best of 5, I'd be a lot more worried about Zverev. If it was a bigger match, if it was bigger than a round of 16, I'd be more worried about Zverev. But again, I don't think the line is way off here. I would put this closer to like I don't think the money, I don't think anything here is amazing value. I just think this Zverev money line is like slightly good value. Like if I were the book, I would put this at like Medvedev minus 120, Zverev even money, or like minus 115 plus 105, something in that range. So I think Medvedev's like a slight favorite, but I don't think it's like. I think the line's a little too far here.
A little bit too far.
Yeah, like just far enough for me to bet Zverev.
I actually like Medvedev over 12.5 here at minus 120.
I really like that as well.
That's probably my play. I think Medvedev wins the match. Just, if you're laying minus 150, that's a lot. So I prefer the minus 120 here.
I think I'm going to do both. I think I'm going to go Medvedev minus, I got to decide. I think Medvedev over 12.5.
And Zverev money line.
Zverev money line and the over both. And the 3 set line are all in play. And I might hit all 3.
All right. I think I'm going to stick with Medvedev over 12.5 and the 3 set line. That's how I'm going to play it.
All right.
Yeah. But I'm not all the way there with Zverev yet. He's still like on my fade list, so he's further down, like he's not at the top, but I just think I don't fully trust him yet.
I get it. I mean,
Medvedev is like super confident right now.
At it, right? Like there's not a whole lot that like tells us to love Zverev Like what do we have that tells us to love Zverev outside of like close losses? We have a close loss versus Rublev and a close loss versus Medvedev. Otherwise, his best win is Lehecka in 3 sets in Dubai.
Yeah, it's not much.
Um,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, and
ugh.
I think there has to be something said about just like the fact that Medvedev has won so many matches recently, and just like that confidence, just that like feeling of invincibility, like I'm not gonna
It
lose
is
this.
weird that like the books and even me, my opinion still hasn't shifted that far. Even after I see win after win after win, I'm still like
Yeah.
fade, fade, fade. Like, and he can't even
Right.
after winning. Like is the narrative so far? There's just nothing he can do to prove me wrong. I don't know.
Like, what does he have to do? Win the French Open for you to like think that like and then he plays Zverev on clay and it's like still fade. He's not good on clay. I
I
don't
see him
know.
win a match in a way that he like surpasses. Like I need to see him surpass expectations. I guess would be the answer. Like we haven't seen him surpass expectations since Dubai. Like in a match, we haven't seen a match where Medvedev has surpassed my expectations. Like, I expect him to beat Zverev. I expect him to beat Tiafo. Sinner just because of the matchup and because Sinner gassed out. Like, given it was a final long tournament and Sinner just ran out of gas, like I expect that.
But you
Like,
expect him to lose to Eubanks.
well, I guess that's the thing. Like, he's expected, like, right? Like he's either met or coming below expectations now in like 15 matches in a row.
He's only lost one of them though.
I know. That's the thing.
You beat the guys in front of you, like, and he's not playing to cover spreads and stuff. So it's not. I just think winning builds confidence no matter how you do it. And like the fact that he's won so much, it's like it must be such like a so it like I don't know the right word, but you know what I mean? Like you just feel like you
Yeah.
can't lose.
No, I mean I get it, right? Because like
And
I mean,
Zverev clearly does not have that feeling. So I feel like if Zverev gets in a winning position, those games are not like a foregone conclusion. I might like live bet it then and bet Medvedev if Zverev gets into a
yeah.
winning position.
I
Like
mean, so
that's
you're
insane.
talking me off of the Zverev money line.
Okay.
You haven't talked me to the Medvedev money line, but you've talked me that the line is probably properly set.
Okay.
I might be going back to the over 2.5 sets line or the Medvedev over 12.5.
Okay. I mean, I love those lines too. That's how I'm
But I
playing.
do think it's close.
And it's funny because you talked me out of playing Medvedev money line in a parlay. Like I don't have that much confidence. Like I have more confidence than you, but like I don't know.
Yeah.
I I might have to do
I
it.
think I feel good about. I mean, I'm debating the. Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. He's already got 4 titles this year, and he's 31-4.
Yeah, it's
I mean, that's
incredible.
not ridiculous. Like guys have had better starts, but that's still a really good start.
It is. It's really good.
Um,
And the two, so he lost to Korda, he lost to
Djokovic,
Djokovic in Adelaide,
Alcaraz.
Alcaraz. Isn't that it?
Who's the 4th? Maybe it's only 3.
I think it's only 3.
Yeah, you're right. It's just those 3.
Only 3.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I mean, and like, there's no shame in losing to Djokovic or Alcaraz. Like, Korda is, I guess, a bad loss, but like, he was playing really well that night. So,
yeah,
all right, last round of 16 match tomorrow, Berrettini and Rune. I have two very clear plays, or I have one.
I mean, What is the only question for me is what
Rune
so
line
minus
like?
8.5 is minus 105. What is the two sets to none line?
Plus 112.
That's the play.
I couldn't agree more.
And I don't love playing games because Berrettini is he's mentally tough enough, he's good enough at serve, yada yada yada. Like that's the only challenge here is there is a mental gap, both tactically and toughness wise.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a huge physical gap the other way. Like there's a huge gap in any physical attribute except for serve. On this surface, there's a huge gap, and I guess maybe net game, there's a huge gap in favor of Rune, but there is a mental gap in favor of Berrettini.
100%.
Which makes me say lay the sets.
I agree with you. And you're getting that plus 112. That's terrific value, I think.
Yeah.
I think if you're betting like Rune in a money line parlay, which is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna place it on the book, which gets paid out for a retirement because I have a feeling.
Yeah.
I have a feeling Berrettini might retire, especially if he's feeling that chest thing that he was he's probably gonna feel it tomorrow. So I'm a little bit worried about that. But yeah, I think
that's in Acapulco 6-0-1-0. The second retirement this year.
Oh yeah, wasn't that between these two guys?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And he doesn't love the fans. That was ridiculous. So they had a rain delay and then played 2 games and retired.
Yeah, that was a pretty bad move by Berrettini.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, if he plays and he's fit, then the mental gap definitely comes into play. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think that's the only play here. Right?
Yeah.
All right. So how about futures? Like we definitely have some futures up because none of the futures
So my list of futures I have in play, I have Rublev to win the tournament at 28-1, which is amazing right now. And I wish I could sell that because I actually don't think he's gonna win.
Mm-hmm.
I hate it at 9-1 right now, but I love it at 28-1. It was just a pure value play.
How is he only 9-1 to win the title? He has a tough draw. Khachanov is no gimme, and then who does he have to play? Ruud. And then probably Tsitsipas.
Right? The answer is he's in the bottom half.
Okay.
But I still think it's ridiculous. I think the 9-1 is terrible.
Ridiculous.
And it's also comical. How does beating Munar get you from 28-1 to 9-1?
In 3 sets. It's not like he blew him out.
No, in 3 sets. I know Munar's a good clay player, but that shouldn't get you from 28 to 9.
Right.
I actually really like Sinner now at 9-1. I put that. I have that. I placed that.
Okay. I mean, I actually think Ruud has a better chance than either of those guys, considering he's on the bottom half of the draw. And I think Ruud has a better chance than Rublev to win the title, to be honest.
Just because the draw?
Well, he's in the same quarter. But if I would have to bet between Ruud and Rublev, I'd pick Ruud. And Khachanov is a pick'em against Rublev.
The Rublev 9-1 makes no sense. Makes no
sense. Makes 0 sense. How is Khachanov a bigger dog than Berrettini?
Well, so how is Khachanov a bigger dog than Rublev? And how is it 50? I can see being a bigger dog, but how is it 50 versus 9? They're a pick'em.
Exactly. I might have to hit Khachanov now to win the title.
At 50 is just batshit crazy.
I may have to hit it just for
problem. You know what the problem is, though? Yeah. But it's not batshit crazy because how does Khachanov? He's gonna have to be the top guy at some point, and he doesn't have a way to do that on this surface.
See, Bovada doesn't let you cash out these props, but if you place it on a book where they allow you to, and they increase the value if he, advances.
Oh, that would be great. I would do that.
It.
I would hit that 50-1, get to the semis, and cash it out.
Right. Right.
But my problem with Khachanov is like, I actually think like Rublev is like the only top guy you can beat here.
Yeah.
On the surface.
I would agree with that. I mean, I think he could beat Zverev if you consider him a top guy. I think he could beat Fritz and Hubie, but like can't beat Rune, can't beat Ruud, can't beat Medvedev.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Top guys. I'm talking about, can he beat Rune, Medvedev? Can he beat the top seven on that list? Can he beat Rune, Medvedev, Ruud, Sinner, Tsitsipas, or Djokovic? And I think the answer to all of those is no.
Right.
Whereas, like, I guess Rublev on this court, I actually think could be, like, I think he could beat everybody here except Djokovic.
Yeah. How about Rune as an outright at 12-1? Do you just not trust him enough mentally?
I just don't trust him. Like,
yeah,
enough to put. I don't trust him mentally to put together like he could win any match, but 1 isn't long enough. Like if he was 50, yeah, because he could win any match, right? But like,
right.
I trust him to put together 4 good matches. I know he did it at Paris, but like that's a faster court. He also got a little bit lucky there. Like he won a ton of close matches.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, in Paris? Well, I mean, he had probably the toughest draw you could ever have in Paris.
He did, but he also won. He also, yeah. I think it's hard to say you get lucky when you beat those 3 guys in a row, but like those individual matches were very close matches. Like I wouldn't say he outplayed. I don't know.
He outplayed Alcaraz for sure. Djokovic could have either way.
I guess looking at the scores, you're right. I mean, it's really only Djokovic that was that close of a match.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wish Medvedev was on the bottom half of the draw because I would certainly hit that at 12-1. But I just like the top half of the draw is just so loaded.
Yeah.
I guess through Zverev, then he has to play Holger Rune, and then he would have to play probably Djokovic in the semis or Sinner.
And then he still got a tough fight. I don't like it.
Exactly. I just don't. It's just not good enough. Like considering he's on the top half of the draw, I thought I would like it, but it's not good enough.
Yeah.
Got to see also a little bit more from him on clay. Any of these props, I still like the bottom half at plus 220 because, like, you just need one good player.
I have it at 200. I already bet that at 200 before the tournament started.
And if Djokovic loses, like, that's so in play,
It's in play even if Djokovic doesn't lose. Like, Tsitsipas could beat Djokovic here if he's healthy.
I just think that, like, if Djokovic gets to the final, then he's going to be really tough to beat. If he loses, but he can lose any round before then, is what I'm thinking.
I think Tsitsipas is good enough here. This is a great court for Tsitsipas, and it's not that great of a court for Djokovic. I think Tsitsipas is good enough to beat him here regardless.
He's got to be 100% with that shoulder, though. I still don't trust it. I want to see tomorrow.
All that comes down to, right? Like,
if he's 100%, and like he also doesn't have a good run of form up to this point. Like he hasn't played. Well, I guess Djokovic neither, but like Djokovic, I trust.
All because of the injury, right? Like take Indian Wells and Miami out because he wasn't even trying to play well at those. He told you that before the tournaments.
And again, I don't really trust what comes out of Tsitsipas's mouth, to be honest. But
I trust anybody who tells me they're not trying to win at a tournament. It's like such a weird thing to say.
Okay.
And then to be actively hurt and looking hurt during the match. Like everything, it wasn't just what he said. He was clearly hurt during those matches.
Yeah.
And before that, you've got a great run of form in Rotterdam, or not Australian Open, and then you've got a loss to Sinner in Rotterdam.
Yeah. But that loss was what, 3 and 4?
I mean, Sinner played great, right? Like,
True.
that was Sinner's coming out match.
Right. And then the quarters to win the title. I think I have the third quarter 5.5.
I do too.
On. Yeah, I mean the first quarter you got Sinner and Djokovic there, so it's
But minus 160 is such shit odds in my mind.
Yeah, no. Second quarter you have Medvedev and Rune. I kind of like that actually.
I don't love it because they have to play the winner of the first quarter.
Yeah, but you only have to play one of them. You don't have to play both. And if it's Sinner,
like if you take
Rune or Medvedev will have a way better chance. And I think if they win that, they'll be a favorite in the final. Unless it's Tsitsipas. But it's plus 500. I think the second quarter is tougher than the third quarter.
I just don't like it because, like, so the third quarter and the fourth, like, the third quarter is Ruud and Rublev.
Mm-hmm.
The fourth quarter is Tsitsipas and Fritz.
Right.
So the fourth quarter is like, unless it's Tsitsipas, it's not.
Right.
The third quarter, even though I bet it at plus 550, I thought the value was there, but like Rublev is beatable, right? Like, whereas like no matter what, like the first quarter is guaranteed to be a tough match, right? Like in the semis, the quarter you don't want to play is the first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
so you're saying the third quarter might only have to play someone in the second quarter, right? They might be able to avoid the first quarter altogether.
Right, or even if they do, they only have to play then they only have to play the first quarter and not the first quarter and the second quarter, right? But there's a chance they can avoid the first quarter altogether. Right, that's what I'm saying. There's a chance the third quarter. So you want to avoid the first quarter.
I'm really hoping Djokovic loses to Sinner because, like, I think if Sinner wins, then all these other bets are more in play. And I think
for sure.
And if Djokovic, like, you know, obviously he struggles here, but he'll get better as the tournament goes on. So if he gets past Musetti and then gets past Sinner, he's the guy to beat clearly. You know, like I think Tsitsipas could beat him, but it's unlikely. You know, so.
I really want to see what the line looks like for that match. If Tsitsipas looks good and healthy, I think that's close to a 50-50 match.
I think Djokovic has learned how to play him and knows how to expose his weaknesses better than he used to.
I don't know, man. That Australian Open final was really tight. Like Djokovic was the better player, but it was really tight.
It was tight, but Djokovic was clearly the better player. He had way more opportunities to break, and like he was the better player.
Yeah, the head-to-head is 11-2 Djokovic.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's won the last 10.
Right. The last one Tsitsipas won was what, Shanghai or something?
Shanghai in 19. He doesn't have a win since 19 against him. He's 10-0 in the last 4 years. 10-0 since then. Beat down some closer matches. I mean, twice though, Tsitsipas has taken him to 5 sets at Roland Garros. That's the most similar court to this. Rome was like on clay. Madrid. So their matches on clay in their career. 19 Madrid, Djokovic 1 and 2 sets, but Madrid's a little faster altitude.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So then you've got 2020 Roland Garros final. Djokovic won the first 2 sets. Tsitsipas won the next 2. Djokovic won in the 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Rome, Djokovic in 3, 4-6, 7-5, 7-5.
Mm-hmm. Close.
One Roland Garros one I always remember where Djokovic came back from 2 sets down.
Mm-hmm.
Djokovic 11-6 in Rome. And that's it. So like yeah, it's 4-0 Djokovic, but 3 of those are close matches.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. It's and this is probably a better play. Like Roland Garros is the closest thing to this.
Mm-hmm.
Not that Rome is fast, but I think that Roland Garros is closer to this.
Yeah, I mean, still a lot has to happen before that final takes place.
I agree.
But, like, there's no value to me placing that at 375 to name the finalists. Like, too much has to happen. See, like, from a overall tournament standpoint, since none of the seeds, like the top 8 lost, like, we don't really know how this tournament is going to pan out, like, yet, right? Like, nothing really happened from a big tournament.
And that's a lot of major. And the top 8 haven't really, I mean, who's been really scared in the top 8 so far?
Rublev? No, not really. He wasn't really scared.
I didn't get that scared. Like, even though he lost the first set, I still felt like he was going to win that match.
Yeah, no one really.
Yeah, I mean, the closest is Rublev. You're right.
Yeah. I guess Ruud kind of got scared because it was 6-5, but not really. You never had the feeling he would lose to VDZ.
No.
So, yeah, I mean, not really. I mean, it's going to change tomorrow. Like tomorrow, I'm sure, it's going to be fireworks.
Yeah.
That's in 4
Somebody's
hours. Yeah.
Like a top 8 guy is going down. I'm just not sure which one.
Right. Yep. All right, so that does it for this podcast. Round of 16, baby.
200 followers, baby.
Yes, up to 200. Thanks to all the followers and all the banter on Twitter. Much appreciated.
Yeah, been great chatting with you guys.
Absolutely. So I'm going to try to upload this now so you guys have like 4 hours to listen to it before the match.
Alrighty.
But as always, thanks for listening, guys. Have a good night.
Yeah, guys.